What is going on YouTube? Hope you guys are good. Welcome to another video. So when it comes to building muscle, we often hear about training volume. But what does it really mean and how do we measure it effectively? So today we're going to unpack the science of what I call stimulating reps and their impact on your muscle growth. Whilst we're going to be talking about volume, we're also going to be training as per usual. I really want to, while I'm teaching you the science of muscle building, I want to train and also apply that so you can see how I apply the science that I'm talking to you about. And so, really, what is training volume? Basically, training volume is the total work done in a session or in a week. This is often measured as sets times reps times weight. However, not all reps are equal when it comes to stimulating muscle growth. Starting off the session with seated calf raise, I've already done two warm-up sets straight now onto my working set. Last time I got 55 kilos for 7 reps. I'm now going for 60 kilos and see what we get. But before I go in and do this, it's going to work really well to do it together. So I've talked about mechanical tension already. I'm going to post that video at the end of this video, so there will be a link to this at the end of the video. You can go and, if you don't know what mechanical tension is, mechanical loading, you need to go and check that video out. I'll put the link at the end of the video. But mechanical loading, there's a couple of things that we need to think about. One of them is the activation of what we call high threshold motor units, and the other one is what we call slow fiber shortening velocity. Now, the best way to explain that is by doing the exercise itself. And this applies to any exercise that you do. And mechanical loading is the biggest thing when it comes to building muscle. So, rep 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. You can see that was a pretty easy rep. 2, 3, 4, 5. Still easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's starting to get harder. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it's getting harder. Now I'm activating what we call the high threshold motor units. The first 3-4 reps was slow twitch muscle fibers, the low threshold motor units. Now, because it's getting harder, we're activating the high threshold motor units. This is what we want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now you can see the speed of the movement is slowing down, not because I'm trying to, because it's just so heavy and I can't go any faster. This is called slow fiber shortening velocity. And so this is what we call mechanical loading, mechanical tension. It's the activation of the high threshold motor units and that slow fiber shortening velocity. As I'm contracting the muscle, it's going slow because it's getting really, really hard and I can't go any faster. That's the two things when it comes to mechanical loading. Very simple to understand once you see it happening. And this happens in every exercise that you do. And so you want to get as fast as you can to activate those high threshold motor units. And we'll talk about a lot more about how many reps you should be doing and high reps, low reps. But you've seen there, that wasn't many reps, and it didn't take me very long to get into those reps where it became very difficult. So we've just finished on calves, 2 working sets there. We're now moving on to a single leg glute drive. Let's talk about stimulating reps. This concept was actually brought to my attention by Mr. Chris Beardsley. He's probably the best guy out there at the moment talking about science of muscle building. And since I've started to learn from him, understand him, and these concepts, honestly, my training as well as my clients' training has just gone up and up and up and up. And stimulating reps is a concept that he created. And these are the reps that activate those high threshold motor units and make sure that they're active. That and also the bar speed is slow, as I showed you on the calf raise there. Those are the two things that create the mechanical loading that we want to be able to create muscle growth. Those are the reps that really, really count. Those are the reps that drive the growth. And those are called stimulating reps. So let's look into it. So we've got heavy loads. Heavy loads, say between 1 to 5 reps, they're going to really recruit those high threshold motor units. And I'm going to talk more about that in a second. Then we've got moderate to light weight, and those are typically 6 plus reps. So as soon as you go up past the 5, 6, you've got moderate, and you can go up to 25, 30 reps. And the recruitment of the high threshold motor unit increases as fatigue starts to build. But there's a bit of a caveat there, because there's this range of, you can grow muscle between, say, 5 reps and 30 reps. And that's true. But there's a caveat to that, which I will cover in this video, which I think is really, really important. Our first working set here, we're going to do single leg glute drive, purely because I've pretty much maxed the weight on here with both legs. And so now to carry on progressing, I'm going single leg. But let's talk about reps. And those stimulating reps are the ones that really count. So if we know heavy loads and reps between 1 and 5 pretty much immediately recruit the high threshold motor units, why would we not just do 1 to 5 reps? The reason for that is purely because we wouldn't be able to accumulate enough stimulating reps if we did such a short amount of reps. So for strength, 1 to 5 is great. You can still build muscle in the 3 to 5 reps. There's no doubt about that, because you are activating those high threshold motor units. But we would just need a lot more stimulating reps, meaning we require more sets to accumulate more stimulating reps. That's kind of the limitation of us staying between 1 and 5 reps. I'll talk to you after I do my set as to moderate and light loads on how we can apply that. So when it comes to moderate to light weights, meaning 6 reps all the way up to 30 reps, as you've seen on the calf raise, the first 2, 3, 4 were pretty easy. But then as fatigue kicked in, I activated those high threshold motor units that I want to accumulate the stimulating reps that I want to build muscle. So earlier reps provide a lot less stimulus, and I guess that's the limitation of going a little bit higher reps. But now just imagine going from, say, 8 reps all the way up to 30. How much fatigue do you need to create to get to those last 5 stimulating reps? Why would we need to, for example, go from, say, 8 reps to 30 when you can so much quicker get to those stimulating reps? For example, by doing 8 reps, the first 3 or 4 were easier, created the fatigue, and then you got 3 to 4 to 5 stimulating reps there that really count. Why would you then want to, for example, do 20 reps to create the fatigue, to then get 5 reps at the end of that to create the stimulating reps? Do you see my point here? Let's do this. Boy, that was 8 reps. So here's an analogy for you. Imagine your muscles as a factory. You've got the low threshold motor units, which are your regular workers. They handle the day-to-day tasks but they don't really grow the factory. They don't grow the business that much. The high threshold motor units, they are the specialists. They're the ones who clock in the hours and do all the heavy lifting and the intense effort that it takes to really grow that business. That's how muscle building works. That's how the stimulating reps works. You've seen there, the beginning 3, 4, 5 reps, those were the low threshold. Those regular workers just doing the day-to-day tasks. And then the specialists came in, last 3 reps, did the heavy lifting. Those are the stimulating reps. Those are the ones that really matter towards muscle growth. There is another analogy that I like to use, which is called filling the jar. And so think of your training volume as marbles filling a jar. Not all marbles contribute equally. The stimulating reps are like the golden marbles that actually build muscle, while the rest, they just take up space. Imagine your sets as jars. If you only filling them with regular marbles, the non-stimulating reps, the jar will look full, but add no value whatsoever. Aim to fill your jar with your golden marbles, those stimulating reps, by choosing the right loads and working hard to failure or near failure. So you will see now, when I do this, it's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to fill up the jar with really those golden marbles. Right, let's do this. Seven reps. Now you've seen there that the golden marbles came about rep 3. So the first 3 marbles were your non-stimulating reps, but the reps that were needed to create the fatigue to then activate those high threshold motor units to slow down the movement, so that now the stimulating reps count. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 had 4 reps there that was stimulating. Those are the reps. Those are what really, really count towards your muscle growth. Ooh. 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 So here's what I would do to apply today's concepts of your volume. You want to make sure that you start with the minimum volume possible that you can recover from. So first of all, in your session, what is your main priority? Let's say your main priority with legs is, like me, glutes and calves. You want to make sure that you put them at the beginning of the session, and the majority of the volume is going to be spent on that. So for example, I did 2 working sets on the calves, 2 working sets on the glute drive, 1 working set on the glute cable press down. That is the majority of my work. Now I want to maintain my muscle, and so the other bits, the quads, the hamstrings, the adductors, I want to maintain that. So I want to just do 1 working set to failure or near failure, and that will maintain my current gains, but I'm not adding too much volume. And so start with that. 1 to 2 working sets. I never really want to work above the 2 working sets. To me, that's more than enough. Also, you've got to take into consideration the reps. How many reps are you doing? I've done a video on fatigue, which you should go and check out if you want to understand fatigue a bit more, but we know that higher reps adds more central nervous fatigue, which will have an impact on those stimulating reps. Because of that high threshold motor unit, it's really important that we get those stimulating reps. So if we're fatigued because we do too many reps, following session, following weeks, we're not going to get the reps that we want, the stimulating reps that we want. So I'm a big fan of heavier loads and less reps. So working in the rep range of really 3 to 8. Anything above that, too much fatigue, I don't want to be doing that. So the load is important, the reps are important, and then how often you train as well. For me, we start to lose muscle around every 72 hours. So I want to train, usually, if I'm training today, lower body, tomorrow, upper body, I will have a day off, and I'll train again, lower body, 3 days later, depending on my recovery. And because I have such low volume, I can train more often. So you're going to take that into consideration as well. So to me, this is what volume is all about. It's understanding the stimulating reps. Once you understand that, then everything has to work around that so that we get the most stimulating reps we can in each of our sessions so we can grow muscle. So hopefully this has been a good video for you to understand volume and how you can apply that to your sessions. If you've liked it, please comment. Let me know if you've got any questions. Let me know if you want me to do any other video on this topic. And please subscribe because it's good for the algorithm. It's good to grow the channel. And the more the channel grows, the more videos I create. And I really appreciate your support on that. And thank you for watching as per usual. I will see you on the next video. Let's go stronger and smarter together.